Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the No Code series. So in episode 6 we left off with a little bit of an issue. So we had a problem with being able to have an approval for our citizen development process or request, and that was because of the connection to the instance or environment which we've seen in the variables come up. And there was an issue in the flow of being able to make that connection. So clearly there was some issue, and then it kind of went into some kind of weird loop. So I was coming across last time that I couldn't find the workflow for it. It seemed a bit strange. It all had the kind of hallmarks of being in flow, but a little bit hidden perhaps. So we'll delve deeper into that a little bit, and then almost kind of summarize up this citizen development request process. So I'm going to start the timer, and today we're going to end our planning, as it were, with having that development access. So I've started the timer here, and if I go and take you through my steps of troubleshooting this particular issue, not what I was expecting to do in this series, but I'd found a application intake request flow by searching in Flow Designer by the scope being application intake, and it's triggered off the basis of request created. So a lot of the times, as you see, with catalog items, you would not trigger it off the back of request created. You would do it off the back of, I think it's like catalog item or something different. It's a different trigger. So that's what kind of threw me a little bit there. So let's just see what it does. So it looks up group membership records based on a particular group, which is the App Engine admins group. So if you remember, that was where sysadmin was a member of. And obviously it follows up if there was no members in that group, and then ends the flow there. But if it did, then it will look up the RITM, which was assigned to that request, and double check that the catalog item is the correct one for apply for citizen development. And then going forward from there, it does a little check on the intake status. So that was what come up on the variables there. So there's a subflow which does that REST check, and obviously this is where I was getting an error, although it did still continue down this flow. So it clearly found an instance, but I think it just didn't authenticate correctly. You remember I put in some random details. So if we follow this through, it did get to the approval step, and it did request approval. But then if it was approved, which is what happened, again it goes to this subflow to check the status again, and that's where it's most likely getting stuck. So I haven't enabled the flow reporting to confirm it got stuck at step 22. But clearly this is where it kind of finished. So essentially, if it was approved and obviously the connection was still working absolutely fine, then it does a check to see if the user is actually existing on that instance. And if it is, then clearly that's good. If it's not, then obviously it's going to error. And if the user did exist, then it wants to add it into a group. So that's essentially the next step, which is give user App Engine Studio access. So it essentially connects to that remote instance via REST. So there's a scripted REST API which will add the user into a specific group, and that's all called through the action give user AES access. So that calls REST, and I won't go into the actual REST call itself. It's not that complex at all. It just calls a script include, which has constants for the actual group sysid. So the upshot of it is, on this flow, is that it added, well, it should add a new member into the App Engine Studio users for that instance. So the instance that's being targeted to give them access to, basically. So I've just mimicked that by just adding in Emily Johnson manually into this particular group. Now, I'd suggest this process is really clunky. It doesn't seem right. I get the whole thing of being able to specify a development instance. You could have multiple development instances available, and you want to give them access to a specific one, maybe away from your normal development instance. So it could be a completely different kind of like staging environment, or temporary environment that you give them access to away from your normal kind of like development processes. But yeah, I mean, the process I'm finding this flow, and the fact that the flow failed really because it regenerated that approval again and again and again and again. I think there was some work notes being entered into the written/request. So yeah, I'm guessing this with the App Engine Management Center, you'd be able to find these sorts of issues quicker, perhaps. Seems a little clunky to me. So for this particular episode, that's it. We've gone through the process of requesting access. Clearly, during that process, the platform admins team on prod would assess the application for its viability. Maybe they would have to go and contact different departments to get more information, and clearly them questions at the beginning is so important to get that context from this citizen developer. And once they've approved, the whole process is just giving them the ability to go into App Engine Studio as a user. So in the next episode, in episode 8, we will start this process. So this is the juicy bit coming up. So episode 8, we will start creating our brand new leave management app. But before we do, we may want to think about at this stage whether we want to split this into stories. So I may include an additional step in here, maybe 7.5 of this, maybe episode 8, into just seeing what we can do to track progress in agile development, just as an additional thing. Okay? All right. So until the next one.